Hey, what's going on? Jeff Ratcliffe here. You know, at Pro Football Focus, we're all about the stats, and I love using them for fantasy purposes. One of my favorites to look at when it comes to the receiving game is target share. So you know what targets are. You've seen it before. You know when a receiver has a ball thrown to him, that's a target. But what is target share? Well, it's the percentage of the team's total targets that receiver sees. You can check out our other videos on wide receiver targets and running back target shares. But right now I want to talk about tight end target shares. So which tight ends were seeing the highest percentage of their team's targets last season? Obviously we know this is important because if you don't have the ball thrown to you, you aren't going to score fantasy points. So let's look down through the list from last year. At the top of the list, maybe a little bit surprised to see Jack Doyle up there. I'll tell you about him in just a minute, but some of the other big names, obviously after that. Number 2, Travis Kelce. He was the number 1 PPR tight end last year. Delanie Walker, Zach Ertz, Evan Ingram, Rob Gronkowski. I mean, it's a fantasy hit list of stars, right? Jimmy Graham as well on this list. Jason Witten, of course, retired, but always one of the highest in terms of team target share. And then interestingly, at the bottom of that list, Charles Clay, Jared Cook, not the sexiest names at the tight end position, but they were seeing 16% of their team's targets last season. So let's look forward to this year, though. And I mentioned Jack Doyle. So what we need to know, of course, first and foremost is he's not the only tight end in Indy anymore. Eric Ebron is there, and love Eric Ebron or hate Eric Ebron, he's going to see his targets. There's no doubt about that, so expect that Jack Doyle number to go down. I still think Doyle is going to be a fantasy asset, but I don't expect to see him getting 23% of the team's targets. The rest of the guys, Kelce, Ertz, Gronkowski, yeah, they're going to continue to see targets, you know that, right? They're the big 3 at the tight end position this year, but also don't overlook Delanie Walker. I mean, he came in with 23% of the team's targets. That is a massive number, and had he scored maybe a few more times, maybe we'd be thinking slightly differently about Delanie Walker, and of course, touchdowns regress to the mean, so don't overlook that. He saw a lot of end zone targets last year. Delanie Walker is actually one of the rare maybe values at the position this season where tight ends have been a little bit overvalued because there just aren't enough of them for fantasy purposes. Evan Ingram is an interesting name. He saw a lot of targets last year, but that was because basically everybody was hurt, right? Odell Beckham Jr. was hurt, Brandon Marshall was hurt, Sterling Shepard was even hurt for a chunk of the season. Well, Brandon Marshall's gone, but Shepard is back. So is Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley in the mix. So expect Evan Ingram's target share to go down. He's still going to see his share of the work, no doubt about it, but 19% is a big number. Maybe it's a little bit more like 16, which still puts him as a viable tight end 1 this year. Also, keep in mind, Greg Olsen not on this list because he missed a good chunk of last season with that foot injury. I fully expect him to be on this. He's always up there close to 20%. So you can look for him to be on this list next year as well. Remember, more targets, more chances to score fantasy points. Who do you think leads the tight end position in target share this season? Give us a comment below. Let us know what you think there. And of course, subscribe for more videos from us here at Pro Football Focus. And for more of these signature stats, including the target share at the other positions and all of the other goodies, go check us out at ProFootballFocus.com.